Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. And we've got myself, John, and we have...
The Dominican Dream, baby. The Theo. That's Papi Platano.
That is Papi Platano.
Damn it.
And we have a special guest. We have...
BDC, right here.
There he is. And we have our host of the show. We have...
I'm the notorious one. I am Dom. Boom.
That's right, and we are here to discuss the WWF King of the Ring 1998, featuring a legendary match, a two-match show, some would say, but they would be so wrong, wouldn't they? The King of the Ring 1998. So, Dom, let's kick it off. What do we have with this amazing pay-per-view?
This amazing pay-per-view takes place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we have Jarrett the King Lawler and good old JR on commentary, so you know it should be a good show when these two are on commentary, unless something tragic happens.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
But before we get into the show, congratulations, Papi Platano. You are a Papi. Yes. How's it feel?
Oh, I'm tired. I am tired. And there's more than what you're thinking here.
You got your daddy sodas?
Got daddy soda, daddy agua, all that shit.
All right. You got a lot of headbanging going on in your crib?
Well, 5 months
A lot of noise?
No, that'll be later in a couple of months.
Oh, all right. Just
When I go for two.
Someone will be saying, thank you!
Thank you. I am broke. I have no money, and I have to work more.
I knew I should have asked Platano for another mixer before he got a baby.
Lord.
yeah.
New
all
mics, more people. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get into our first match. Wasn't an impromptu match for some reason. They had the Headbangers of Thrasher and Mosh and Taka Michinoku taking on Kaientai with Yamaguchi-san.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Guys, what do you think about this opener right here? Like, they could have went without this.
Yeah,
Well, I
it
mean,
caught
it
me
was
off
a
guard, too. Go ahead, D.
It was a bonus for a reason.
Oh.
For a
And that
reason.
reason is...
They really just needed something to throw in there last minute.
It should have been on Sunday Night Heat.
Should have. Was it even like a part of their show at the time? Sunday Night Heat? Or was it still one of those shows?
They saw Heat at the time.
I don't remember when they added that. I don't know if they had it before or after SmackDown, but I guess you had it right.
Well, I don't think they had Heat just yet. And, you know...
SmackDown didn't exist at the time either.
No, that's not till 99 or 2000.
99.
I mean, I will tell you, it was an hour and a half into the show, and I was like, how long is this freaking show? And I'm like, at that point, I was like, it's only an hour and a half, because the WWF at that time, they just shoved so many matches in a short period of time. You thought the show was longer, you know, and this was one of them. One of the two bonus matches they put on the show. But yes, as Dom mentioned, the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, still kind of popular at that time, with the guy they're still pushing, Taka Michinoku, trying to hide his headbanger outfit under his gi, but it wasn't effective. But it was pretty cool when he made the reveal. And of course, they were facing off against his cohorts, Kaientai, which made me wonder, where the hell was Val Venus? Maybe he was recovering. Maybe he was at urology.
He was on ice.
Yeah, but you got you look at that crew. You know, we know Funaki. He was there for many, many years. We know Dick Togo, Bullet Club, and so forth. You would see him many years later. But I believe the third guy, the third man, Men's Tejo.
Yep.
What the fuck happened to him? just disappeared into the ether like Yamaguchi-san. But yes, this is a very needless match, and you know, the finish was Taka Michinoku going for the Michinoku driver. And I was thinking earlier, before this pay-per-view, before we even turn this show on, I was thinking about that move. I'm like, that's such an awesome finisher to do, and you know what? It's not that bad, but you can't do that to A-Train if you're talking Michinoku. You shouldn't, especially considering the premium live event that just passed us recently. You know, Clash in the Castle 2. There were so many botches on that pay-per-view and a lot of them did end up hurting people. You don't want anyone to get hurt, but Taka Michinoku being able to do that on a guy of Funaki's size, he could do it crisp and strong style. It looked really good. This match, you didn't need it there. Didn't need it at all. But I wouldn't completely dismiss it as not mattering.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that, man. To be honest, I was with you on that. Like, why do you even have this match of all? Like you said, Michinoku with the Headbangers. I mean, yeah, the Headbangers were a tag team of that time. They didn't really last because punk rock, or was it hard rock? I don't even know what classification of rock and roll it was, but it was basically like mosh pitting. Basically, that didn't last. So it's not one of those things you would want to revisit if you're not into that genre. But like I said, not one of those opening matches I'm like, oh, I want to see this. So
This ain't WCW.
no.
This ain't Psychosis and Ultimo Dragon.
Woo.
Yeah.
But I was never into the Headbangers. But why did Kaientai dress like they was the street gang from Gran Torino?
Dude.
You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that, but I stayed away from that.
In my notes, I literally say Kaientai was WWE's answer to Raven's Flock. Literally.
I think one of them had like a Led Zeppelin T-shirt on, something like that.
Yeah, Dick Togo did. Yeah.
Jesus.
food was better.
Yeah. Is it spice? Is it hot? Is it curry? No curry man in there.
You know, Don mentioned the Ultimo Dragon match from last week's show being an awesome opener for the show, and I thought this was a decent opener as well. So I give it a thumbs up. So there we go. That's it.
Yeah, I gotta give it a thumbs up with the action they had, though. Not what I was going for, but
Yeah.
exceeded my expectation.
Yeah, I think based on the rest of the matches that they had, this one makes out better for the opener than any other matches that they actually had that they could have put up there. So it worked.
It was an interesting opening match, I would say. Like the fans were into it, so I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just us watching it now, like why the hell this here? But at that time in 1998, it's pretty cool if you were.
they were all
stuff.
into it. I mean, it was really a tale of two styles because whenever it was Taka versus Kaientai, it was just fast paced. It was just moves all over the place. And when it was either the Headbangers in there, it was just this slow plotting, power, overwhelming display. So it really just mattered as to who was in the ring on the Headbanger side to determine what kind of match you got.
Yeah.
So Strap, Taka was a light heavyweight champion. How many light heavyweight champions have there been?
Well, he was. I mean, there was a light heavyweight championship before in the '80s WWF, and I believe I don't want to say. I was going to just throw out the name Tatsumi Fujinami, but I don't think so. But there was a previous light heavyweight championship. The WWF had other championships that just stayed in Japan, and they never acknowledged them. Kind of like the women's championship, But they did have a tournament at the DX pay-per-view in your house to crown because the cruiserweights were actually doing a dent in the ratings for WCW. So Vince was like, let me do my version. And I remember watching it at the time, and we're not going to get into a full discussion of the WWF light heavyweight division versus the WCW cruiserweight division. But
Right.
Taka was the leading star for that, and they were trying to push it. They were really trying, but they had no one of note to put in the light heavyweight division, and they didn't really mean to push it. They just had it to have it. But yeah, they had one before, and they kept it around. Obviously, it turned into the WWE cruiserweight title for many years after that. But it would never get the respect, and it would never get the just desserts that it deserved.
I agree.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So after this, we have the cover girl. We have Sable coming out, and she's out there looking pretty scrumptious.
I mean, imagine yourself as we were at 98.
10 years old.
All right, anywhere between 8 and 14.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not in that age range in 1998. I was not exactly in the teenage ranks at that point.
He was in the senior circuit.
I was already able to drink and drive at that point, but you know.
So you're telling me you had a chance?
No, I did not have a chance.
Well, everyone was a fan of Sable at the time, and you know, of course, I was, and I remember seeing her here coming out on the entrance. It's kind of like, of course, you would like Sable at that time, just as busty ass chick just walking out there. How would you not like it? So.
Still like Jackie.
Hey, Miss Jackie, get it.
Well, like you said, you were in a different age group than us, so at that time you seen more of Sable than you seen of Jackie.
Yeah, more intrusive thoughts with Jackie.
So true.
Chocolate titties. Milk duds. All right.
Let's just say Sable, just like this room, is making me hot, sweaty, and I'm thirsty.
Speaking of hot, sweaty, and thirsty, Mr. McMahon and the Stooges come out.
Yep.
Oh my!
And Vince is out here talking about disappointment. Well, before we get to Vince talking about disappointment and whatnot, Jerry Briscoe and Pat Patterson escort her outside the ring or out through the ropes, and Patterson gave her a pat on the butt. She turned around and slapped.
And she gave him a not so nice pat on the face. Yeah.
So this is pretty funny because at the time, none of us knew that Patterson was
what?
Well, wait.
What?
There's more.
Wait, there's more.
Nobody knew that.
Because JR with the slick ass comment talking about Pat was getting limber in territories he wasn't familiar with.
Yeah. JR with the comments. It's funny.
He slid that right in there.
JR would play the quiet guy that wouldn't do anything wrong and then slide that in there. You're like, you son of a bitch.
I forgot what happened, but Bret Hart made some comments about Pat Patterson before too, like in one of his promos.
Just slid it right on in there.
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't know Patterson was a homosexual.
Okay, I remember that time. It would happen the next year when the corporate ministry was around and Pat Patterson and the Stooges were faces, and the guy at school, Alex Brown, that was his name, and he would mention that the line JR would say when Viscera would attack Pat Patterson, the Stooges. It's like, my God, that is the largest man to ever be on top of Pat Patterson. So, as an 8th grader, I think the message got across.
You didn't think about it like that.
You're saying it didn't, but according to this very specific thing from Alex Brown from New London, Connecticut, that's the largest man to ever be on top of Pat Patterson.
Oh, damn.
And I just one little tiny thing I want to bring out. I think Gerald Briscoe, maybe because Sable slapped him, Pat, or something like that. And Jerry was like, Vince, you've been running, you've been on top of this business for 10 years or something like that. And I was like, 10 years? I was like 98, 88. And I'm like, well, sometimes you just speak without thinking, but at that time, that's the expansion was in 84, 85, 86, and about 10
The big
years.
hit was in 88 when Hogan slammed Andre.
So
was it Andre or no? That was
Hogan slammed him in 87 or
in my notes.
BDC's infamous notes.
Because I heard that, I was like, oh, did he a whole lot? So Vince McMahon actually took over WWF. He bought it in 1982.
Okay.
So by that point, it was not 10, but actually 16 years he had already been running this thing. He was almost there. Maybe the smack took a couple of years off, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
Do you count when he first started, or do you count when he actually started to be the #1 territory? Because that's what
I
I'm
counted.
guessing.
I counted the moment I looked up the actual moment he actually bought WWF.
From
Okay.
his dad.
The moment he actually bought it, and I mean technically, the first WrestleMania was 83, 84.
85.
Yeah, 80. No.
80,
Yeah, 85.
85.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I was right. 83. That's when he's. No,
Yeah,
wrong
so-
again.
Yep.
Damn it. Go ahead. I'm interrupting.
Nah, yeah.
All right, so Vince out here talking about disappointment and that this was disappointing on the pay-per-view and blah, blah, blah. What was the point of this segment on the pay-per-view show?
Watch
Killed-
Pat Patterson get smacked.
Yeah, it must have been because Vince likes a little haha in his show every now and then. Could have saved it for Raw.
I
Or-
don't
or to
know
give
about, I don't know
everybody
about at this time.
Or to give everybody Sable.
Yeah,
They could have done more with her.
Because I mean, technically that was her coming back, and she had come back to the WWF, and this was before she went full I'm a Vince girl and turned heel, and the whole Sable Stephanie war and all that other crap along the way. So
Too soon, BDC. But I thought the same thing. I'm like they would do this exact storyline years later. So, but at this moment in time, I don't have any recollection of what it was for. I don't know where Sable was banished off to, that she had to come back to, but yeah, this was eerily reminiscent of what was to come in like 2003 in the same exact storyline. Sable as Vince's secretary or whatever. But at this time, I do not know, and it does not matter. So,
because everybody got Sable, and that's really all that matters.
yes.
Patterson got all of her.
Even though he probably didn't want none of it.
He got more of her than any of us got it, and he probably didn't even want it.
Yeah.
and how those guys have it. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into our first semifinal match for the King of the Ring. We have Double J, Jeff Jarrett, with Tennessee Lee. Plot to know, who's Tennessee Lee? Where's he from?
Tennessee. Isn't he the former? I forget his name.
Colonel
Who
Robert
did he
Parker.
fuck?
Yeah, I can never get.
Yes.
Man with the low-key big hug.
Pause.
Oh.
That's what
Wasn't
they
he
said.
the voice of Tony the Tiger as well?
Nah, that's Marshall.
Oh,
That's
one of them
Lee,
guys.
Lee Marshall from WCW.
Lee Marshall. Yeah, they're all lumping together with WCW.
He's wrong.
And his opponent is the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock.
Yep.
And before the match starts off, Jeff Jarrett kicks off and says, I got 3 words for you. Ain't I great? You're not, because you got your ass whipped by Ken Shamrock.
Yep.
Big time.
Big time.
Tennessee Lee made sure to say "ain't I great" in the beginning too, in a way that only he could. That I'm not even going to try to mimic because
Yeah,
it just
because he has
sounds
asthma. Here comes
Hey, ain't I great?
That man was sweating like crazy out there in Pittsburgh.
Well, he lost his
Jeez.
sherry.
Well,
I
That's
lost
bad.
one of those too once. But I was thinking about this match right here, Ken Shamrock and Jeff Jarrett, and the way the match ended, Jeff Jarrett tapped right away as soon as he was put in the ankle lock. And I was thinking, flash forward just maybe four more years or 5 more years into the future, and Ken Shamrock being the inaugural, not TNA champion, but the NWA champion for TNA wrestling at the time. And Jeff, as a startup company, Jeff Jarrett's startup company, he could be like, "Hey, Ken Shamrock, remember when you were young and up and coming, and I did a job for you and made you look really good? Pay back, right? Because I tapped for you so quickly at the King of the Ring, 1998." So Jeff Jarrett playing the long game here. But if Jeff Jarrett was facing Ahmed Johnson, nope. No love.
Nope.
Hell no.
I'm gonna just take that bag and I quit.
If I could wrestle a guy that could speak English. Yeah.
So while I was watching this match, I thought of a dream match for myself. Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man.
Yep.
Versus the big bad booty daddy, Freakzilla, Scott Steiner. You know how intense that shit would be?
I wonder if they actually ever wrestled.
No. No, because he was out of TNA by then.
Yeah.
That could have been interesting.
I'm not sure, but both of them hot-headed, and you know, if Steiner really want to get you on the ground and rough him, you know, ground and pound you, he could get you. Steiner could go. And Shamrock could go, so it'd be good.
The rumors were that Steiner would mess around with guys he knows wouldn't fuck with him, but guys like Farouk or other guys like that, he's like, nah. And the saying goes, I'm unfuckwithable. I'm like, yep. Don't fuck with Ron.
That's why his theme music was that.
Damn.
Yep. But no, that's what I was thinking about when I was watching this match after Jarrett tapped out so damn quickly. I'm like, I kind of see him and Steiner go at it. So maybe I should put him in 2K.
Yeah, apparently a quick search on Google tells me that a lot of people did that.
Oh.
What?
A lot of people
out?
did that. Put them in a video game because, like I said, the match never actually happened. So
that'd be good. Okay. It could be like Antonio Tarver and Sylvester Stallone and Rocky.
Yeah.
Balboa.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I was always such a huge fan of his ankle lock. I mean, of course, you had Angle and so many other people who did it afterwards, but his is still the best to me.
Yeah. It's probably the best to you because it was real. It's coming from a former MMA fighter, literally like just got out of the UFC maybe like a year or two prior to this. Even though people don't realize Kenny was a pro wrestler before he got into the UFC.
Right.
Hey, do your research if you don't know. He was a pro wrestler before he was a UFC fighter.
Barry Horowitz.
But, yep. That dude was real deal. A real deal, man. I mean, yeah, maybe I could see that one, but I don't know. Would you want to see him like fight in his prime and against like a UFC guy too? Up in WWE?
Who, Kenny?
Yeah. I don't know.
At that time, who was like the big thing in the UFC at the time?
Damn Severn.
Dan, and then Tito Ortiz. He had his number. I don't think he ever beat Tito. But I don't think Tito ever wanted to make that transition.
Well, I mean,
TNA.
He did later in TNA, but it was really a part-time thing. It wasn't a commitment.
That was probably because they had Spike under there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under the
brand, so they had pushing Bellator at the time.
Okay, that makes sense. That's basically what WWE is doing with UFC. They're pushing UFC and WWE at the same time now.
Mm-hmm.
That TKO.
Hey, smart move, man.
That love TKO. Yeah. That Mark Miro. All right, so Ken Shamrock beats Double J with the ankle lock, and he advances to the final for the King of the Ring. So your next match, we have the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock, who is down with the nation, and he's going against Dan the Beast Severn,
a.k.a. Mike Hager from Final Fight.
Final Fight? What video game was this?
It's the Nintendo version of Streets of Rage.
Ah.
Yeah, with
number 1 or 2?
Guy, Cody, and Mike and Hager. Yeah, he was Hager.
I kind of like Final Fight. What is it?
Yeah,
I kind of like Final Fight a little more than Streets of Rage for some stupid reason. They're both fun to play, but anyway.
So you think Dan Severn looks like this guy from Streets of Rage?
No. Final Fight.
Final Fight.
He looked like Hager from Final Fight.
I thought he looked like Ray Finkel to me.
God, take that away. Can't.
Laces out.
That was the other version of the photo. Someone's like, you don't know sports unless you know this guy. I'm like, oh, I know that one. Not that one. Not that one. God. Damn.
That's the first thing I was thinking. I'm like, I hope Dom has the fucking graphic, and he got
Laces
it.
out, Dan. Laces out.
God.
The first thing I said, I was like,
Feel sick.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how Severn was in UFC? Like I know he was like a belt collector and shit like that, but was he like nasty or was he better than Ken Shamrock?
I think they went back and forth from what I remember.
They had a feud. They had a feud in MMA.
But the top dog was Hoist Gracie at that time too. That dude was he made MMA what it was. You didn't have to be the biggest jacked up guy. You just had to really know how to take down somebody and just jack them up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at this time, he goes against The Rock. The Rock is the Intercontinental Champion, and Severn is trying to out-wrestle The Rock. And The Rock finally gets some offense, and I don't know why. This should annoy me through the commentary. The Rock was laying down the smack. JR said that shit like 3 times. Laying down the smack.
It's
Laying
Young
the smack
Rock,
down,
baby.
JR.
It's Young Rock. It ain't a thing yet, man. Gotta chill.
So he's
The
still
nation-
basically he's still becoming The Rock at this time. He's not fully
He's not
evolved.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember when the Rock Bottom didn't have that name. It was in the magazines, in PWI. It's called the Rock Slam.
Oh my god.
Imagine
Look.
that.
Wow.
I mean,
That's a collector's item if you still have that page.
No, it's,
I mean, dude
Gotcha.
threw
It's
his
in the
elbow
basement.
pad off halfway through the match. He didn't wait to do the people's elbow because he didn't have the people's elbow. He just threw his elbow pad off.
He had the elbow pad off beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
He
that.
threw it off just because he threw it off just because he was mad. He was like,
Yeah, he pissed
oh,
off.
okay.
Yeah, he was not.
He
He seemed like he was not happy with what's going on. He was like, God damn it. Severn, fuck.
Yeah, Severn had a couple of botches, and the Rock was not too happy about
Yeah.
that. But I just want to take a pause before any of it even began, because there was a slight pause right before the Rock's music hit, and you can they get that pause, then they play the music, and you can hear that. I hate to borrow from NXT. You could hear that roar of the crowd at that moment in time, June 1998, and it was a mix of emotions from the fans. It was a mix of excitement of wanting to give a babyface pop, but also knowing, no, he's a heel. But it's the heel we like. That pop. It wasn't super huge yet, but it was. You could feel it. It was just a burning desire. It's something LA Knight was going through this past year. Or last year rather. That we always want to watch out for because it's always really exciting, and knowing where the Rock went after this, it's such a pleasure to hear. And it's not fun hearing laying the Rock down on Smack and hearing it like that because it's not polished yet. It sucks, but it's early, man, and we just gotta roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
So before the match started, they showed Dan Severn having D'Lo Brown in some chest type submission.
Yeah.
That supposedly broke
Oh,
his chest.
I
he was
believe that.
stretching him like a champ.
Yeah.
So he comes out and he hits the frog splash, and he's wearing the chest protector. The first time we see the chest protector with that frog splash, and the Rock gets the win.
Yep.
So so you get the Rock and Ken Shamrock in the finals of the King of the Ring.
Yep.
There you go.
He introduced that match. Introduced a Hall of Famer because that chest protector is a Hall of Famer.
He was a Hall of Famer.
No, D'Lo is low key a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You don't recognize it, but
The last one.
Yeah.
he's the last member of the nation that needs to go in.
And I'm here at Foxwoods. Come see me.
Well, the last one will probably be The Rock, but
Oh,
the definite one that needs to sneak in is definitely D'Lo.
D'Lo. Yeah. Yep.
Because all the other guys were well deserving.
Yes.
One of the
Except for that damn Nugget. Should have been on his own.
they had at the time.
He still ain't in that shit, right?
No, he'll never be. Martha won't approve of it.
You know what I tried to look up because we did that Owen Hart tribute episode. You know, they released that DVD, but then they got in trouble for releasing it. The Owen Heart of Gold.
I got it.
It's not on Peacock though.
Oh, they took it off?
I don't know. I can't search for it, and I don't know where it is. But I tried to look for it. I couldn't find it.
I have it. You want to borrow it?
Wow.
Give me your library card. I'll sign you out, and you can borrow it.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like to think that with Vince not being a part of things anymore, that she might give consideration. But I think she's not mad at just Vince. She's mad at the entire company. So I don't care if Jesus was running it. She probably still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I know he belongs in that Hall of Fame because it's quote unquote the all-time Hall of Fame, but
right.
And not only that,
but we'll keep it 100. He did a lot of work in a lot of different places, but he became who he was in the he did.
Yeah, he did.
He was the Rocket. He became the King of Hearts. He became the Nugget. He became all of that in WWE. And I think that if they want to honor him and they really want to honor him, I would hope that she would look at it from the vantage point of this is not about the company, but it's about the fans who would love to see him honored. But
I just think she doesn't want them making money off of him.
Yeah, she might be looking at AEW, but like, well, this is the fans are doing. This is giving the fans what they want, but you can't really say that because what if AEW fans were never WWE fans, so they never really saw him work. They never saw what he did. They don't know who he is outside of Tony Khan throwing up in there. We're gonna bring in Martha Hart, and then that's how you kind of know who Owen Hart is.
I gotta give you a good impression. Yeah, that's a good impression. I'm usually the impressionist, but that one, little baby, you got that one right down the middle, and I can't. I swung and missed, and you hit that home run.
Now, TK doing Tengo Matumbo. What's that guy's name?
Who?
What?
I don't know.
He was hype. I know it. I love him for that. I know he was.
Oh Lord.
I love him for that though. I get it. You're a fan and you're hype. You are hype.
You don't get hype. But
You stay
hype.
During Mark Henry's Hall of Fame speech, he reached out and he shouted out, the Martha to do something with WWE. Of course, that didn't happen. I don't expect it to happen. But when he was in AEW, he did do it there, and you have a point there. Yeah, it's a different audience, but the AEW fans are the type of audience that would know his work anyway. So
yeah.
I don't think it'll ever happen
It
won't happen in WWE, but it's happening in AEW. It's a current thing. They do it every year, the Owen Hart Cup. So that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, a lot of guys, if you don't realize it, if you're not a fan of AEW, a lot of these guys are inspired by Owen Hart and his style. I mean, yeah, they have some lucha libre in it, which Owen Hart took from. He also stole from New Japan. When he wrestled over there, he had a little strong style in it. And then he actually had his Calgary style with his dad and his brother. And he was just one of the most perfect wrestlers at that time that just didn't get to enjoy this era and say, you know what? I helped build this, or these guys are inspired because of me. And it's sad because something so tragic, we lost maybe another 10 years, even though he was only going to stay for a few more from what he says. But I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to, see him reach the pinnacle, which we all know he should have.
Yeah.
He should have become world champion.
Yeah.
He was too damn good to not become world champion. And we lost that due to a gimmick that he may or may not have actually ever wanted to do. But he did it because it was what was asked of him. So
if he would have lasted, maybe let's see, he passed away in 1999.
yeah,
If he would have lasted maybe another 5 years or so, he could have had that match with like, well, he already fought Kurt Angle, but like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero's, Jericho. It would definitely been dope.
Would you have replaced Jericho with Owen Hart in that night where he won the undisputed heavyweight title, where he was champion for both?
yes.
You never would have seen it coming, but I don't know if you want to do that because then you're not making a new star. Jericho was already on the way.
Jericho was already made though.
I think those titles helped him out though.
I mean, Jericho was made at his debut. People knew who he was by the time he got to the WWE. So he was already made. We knew who he was. He wasn't some cat who was just coming in and we knew who he was.
I think if when that brand split happened and when SmackDown was hot with Edge and Guerrero and JBL and all that stuff, you put Owen Hart on that SmackDown brand, he definitely would have shined.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's if ands or buts.
Imagine a best of 7 with him and Eddie Guerrero. That should have been amazing.
Him and Kurt. And then you get that rising star coming out of nowhere, Brock Lesnar. He's gonna get murdered, but he gonna make him look good.
Yeah,
like keep the mask off.
Owen probably find some way to tie his shoes without us knowing. Unlace them and tie him up and be like, "Yo, why is Brock tripping on himself?"
Yeah, that's what Owen would do.
Oh man!
All right, well, let's get back to the King of the Ring. So our next match, we have Too Much, which is Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor.
Too sexy and too hot.
Yes, you all know who Scott Taylor is. Scotty Too Hottie, and Brian Christopher is
Grandmaster
Sexay, and they went against Al Snow and Head. If Al Snow wins, he'll get the opportunity to talk to Mr. McMahon.
But if he loses,
now does he bring Head with him?
You know Vince like Head.
As long as it's blonde.
Head wasn't blonde. I will note that I thought it was absolutely hysterical that Al Snow came down to the ring, did his full entrance with no music.
I noticed that.
Like, I had to take a minute to say, wait, did they actually just blank his music out because they can't use it anymore? But then Lawler literally was like, he's out here, he's doing his whole entrance, and he has no music. He's an idiot. I'm like, oh, I guess that answers that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then King ends up being the special guest referee. Oh, I want to know how he did that.
It's funny. They're making Jarrett's making little comments. Like, nobody knew that Brian Christopher was the son of Jarrett King Lawler.
Yeah, but again, sliding fingers in there.
You look back, you can see that.
I didn't think of that back in the day.
Nah.
I didn't think so either. And then I keep hearing it. I'm like,
yep.
One of these things is not like the other. Or are they?
Yeah, but Al still never had an advantage with Jarrett King Lawler being the referee.
No.
Whatsoever.
But it was hilarious that every now and then he would run to the corner, argue with Head mid-match. He would just stop what he's doing, turn over and turn around, go to the corner and argue with Head.
Did y'all notice there was another Head on the ring apron?
Wait, what?
It was a male Head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
really?
So when they came down to the ring, somebody presented him with a male head. Oh. So he had the two heads together, and then he put Head on the pedestal up on the turnbuckle. The other one he puts down next to the steps, I think. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of.
I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be part of the match. I do remember that part BDC, but I don't think it had any.
Yeah, I don't.
Effect on
I
the
don't
match.
think he was. I don't think that head was meant to be there. I think somebody just gave it to him and he just
Yeah.
kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
Or could have-
just playing along.
Could have been thrown in by one of the fans, and we didn't even catch it.
Yeah,
It was interesting because just weeks before I was with Nita and she was asking about Al Snow matches, and you know me,
What?
the brain here.
Really?
I could not think of a fucking Al Snow match to pull up. I'm like,
You didn't tell her about WrestleMania 15 with him and Hardcore Holly in the Philadelphia in the swamp,
something more like funny, I guess, not like a hardcore match. But even then,
Yeah,
it was
you
hard to think of something.
you guys whole Job Squad run.
When? Where?
Yeah.
Where?
him and
What?
Scorpio.
Fully loaded 98. Huh? Yeah. I don't know what I don't have an encyclopedia for Al Snow matches on these pay-per-views. I was just like, I have no idea. So I found some bullshit other thing.
You should have just said Al Snow and Mick Foley. They fought for the hardcore title.
Al Snow ECW. That would have done some. That would have done some things for you.
Something specific. You know how specific I can be.
Yeah, you
Nada.
like to be right on that.
Yeah,
She was like, find. She was in, she loves Roddy Piper and Mick Foley, so she was like, find a Roddy Piper match. And I was like, well, here's a nice one, WrestleMania 3 with Adrian Adonis. That's a fun one where, but otherwise he's just a heel, dastardly heel. You can show her Piper and Bret Hart, WrestleMania 92. You can show him half black, half white at WrestleMania 6.
You don't show that.
Did not want to show the backlot brawl with Gold Dust.
Oh, you should show that
So
one.
Yeah, you show that. That one's great.
I did show her Cyber Sunday, Ric Flair and Roddy Piper versus the Spirit Squad. That was a fun one.
You should have showed her when Piper got locked in Alcatraz and he came back. And who did he fight?
Hogan.
What was it, like Savage? Hogan? All right.
Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
That was after he made his comeback.
Yeah, I think he lost that one. Not that one, not Star K96. I was ixnaying a lot of them in my head.
Was that 90s? Yeah, it was 96.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
but yeah, I could not really find. I wanted like because she liked comedy Al Snow. I was like, I can't think of anything like specifically comedy Al Snow. So.
Oh, you could have had him with Boss Man with Pepper.
Oh, the dog kennel match, the Hell in a Cell dog kennel match.
Talk about hilarious. Wow. She would have been laughing the whole time. Dogs humping everywhere, shitting everywhere. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Look at them. They're shitting everywhere.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Bite them. Oh, bite.
Lord.
Just lick them.
But also during this match, I was thinking of like you could play as Head in one of the video games, the first or the second
Attitude.
one.
Mhm.
With
Attitude.
Attitude? Okay.
Yeah, the red
Oh.
one. I remember that.
It was just the head and the
Yeah, it was like
body.
the head, and like you see the hands and the feet, and that's it. I'm like,
Oh,
wait, what?
I was like, I think that happened.
I forget how you unlocked it. I was like, what the hell?
You better go on Cheat CC and figure it out.
Figure,
Nope,
yes.
I'll pass.
Game
I'm
of
all
fake
set.
news.
Oh, my
Thank
back
you.
in the day.
Yeah. So,
Game FAQs was the shit.
Still is.
so
All right. So,
what do you?
You threw
I would
down.
say thoughts on the match. I think Jr. summed it up best. He said match was uglier than bowling shoes.
yeah.
Head,
Head, head
the
and
new
shoulders.
Young Bucks sneakers.
Ouch.
I was gonna buy some.
Yeah.
But I don't really care that much.
You gonna get the Brody Lees?
$120.
Nah.
Although I do want the Reebok pump. I was like, does it do anything?
Those are dope.
Yeah.
I'll,
I'd probably get some.
You could buy the
want-
non-Young
well,
Bucks
like,
one for $98, I think.
I want the Bloodline Jordans if they ever get uncanceled.
Well, they canceled right now?
Yeah, they canceled it. The Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns not getting a sneaker.
They was like, oh, he doesn't have the title anymore. Fuck him.
Literally. Tribal chief of what? You're not even here. That solo guy. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Sell one shoe. Solos.
Yeah. They're gonna sell foot wraps. That's what they're gonna sell.
Oh,
Nike foot wraps.
They would do that too.
All right, back to King
I get
of
us
the
back
Ring.
on track.
Yeah, too much one with Head and Shoulders. But anyways,
Literally.
our
Come on, you can't roll over that. But let's do it. This match sucked. Let's move on.
Yeah.
so
X.
our next match, it does matter. We have X-Pac taking on Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
It's like they said, X-Pac want your entrance to be video game perfect because we're going to use it, your model as the video game model. Because that was the X-Pac action figure. That was the X-Pac promo
I had the
photo.
action pack. Yeah,
That
I
was
had
the
that.
X-Pac of that day, you know. So
Mhm.
that's pretty.
Yeah.
It was a good,
I think I had the
fast-paced match.
Everybody had that action figure, didn't they?
Oh yeah, had the Owen Hart body. I mean, yeah, funny fact, right? It had the Owen Hart mold, different head.
Oh shit. Oh boy.
All right. Well,
I-
anyways,
Pretty sad.
it was a good, fast-paced match. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a lot of spin
Yeah.
kicks, a lot. Them guys, they were going back and forth. All right. So while Owen Hart was outside on the ground, Mark Henry comes out and no, excuse me. When X-Pac was outside, Mark Henry comes out and he splashes him.
Yep.
And then China gets in his face. Then after that, Vader comes out of nowhere,
Blast.
and
Blast.
then them two just start going at it.
Man, Vader, sloppy Vader. He had a shock master moment doing his oof, and he fucking trips. You just hear Vince in the back like, "Good, this fat fuck can't do anything right."
Yeah.
I thought he was fired by then. I could have sworn he was gone by the time Sean
No,
was
he's a
gone.
fat piece of shit.
What? I think John BDC. I said something last week. What show was it that Vader and Mark Henry had a match?
Breakdown.
I know.
Yes.
I think it was maybe off camera. I said it, but maybe it was in your house show.
Vader Mark Henry, huh?
Yeah, Vader and Mark Henry. Let me
Let's
see.
Let's look it up while we're watching the
Yep, we're
show.
doing
Let
it
me
right
scroll
now.
my BlackBerry
Raw.
Storm too.
It was a Raw episode in '98.
Oh, and it was fully loaded 98. John don't want fully loaded 98. He wants 2000.
Yeah.
Well, I
So literally next month, these guys they go at it.
Oh jeez. Mustn't have been a good match because I don't remember it.
Well, just know at one point Mark Henry overhead pressed Vader, basically
What?
Vader over his head.
What?
What?
Yeah.
I'm going back just to watch that.
Yep. He
not for this show, you're
pressed-
not.
Well, the significance of it was my son was born the same day Mark Henry was born. So, and I talked to Don about this. So June 12th, Mark Henry, my son, y'all both share the same fucking birthday. You were one of my inspirations growing up, and I got to watch that. That's impressive. A 400 plus guy, and you can overhead press him.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm taking a moment to see it. Oh, holy shit. Oh, holy shit. Yep. Yeah.
So I heard I was listening to
Yeah.
the Undertaker's podcast, 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway, and he had Mark Henry on the show, and Mark Henry was talking about the time where that he thought Shawn Michaels stole his crutch, and Undertaker was like, "There's two sides of Mark Henry. If he's smiling, he's good, but if he don't have that smile on his face,
Look out.
basically, yes. So his crutches is gone. He's pissed off, and Shawn, give me back my crutch. If not, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna kill you. He said to Shawn, he said to Triple H, Sid, why you breathing so heavy? Get out my face. And like Undertaker, he's just like, this is Mark Calloway just talking, telling a story, and he just cracking up. Like, you never heard Undertaker just laugh like this. He's like, yo, it's true. Like, it's true. Like, I seen this. And then come to find out, Vince said, you gotta chill out. He's like, no, I'll kill you too. He said that to Vince. long story short, don't piss off Mark Henry, and the person that took Mark Henry's crutch was Paul Bearer.
Oh my God!
And after this, Vince is pissed off and sent him to Canada, and that's when he started training with Owen Hart.
That's just him being mad. I mean, you've heard the story of him moving a fucking bus because it was in the way while they were in Europe. A literal bus that weighs over 1,000+ pounds. Dude just said, "Fuck this." Hulk that shit, and they're just like, "Okay, we're not fucking with him the rest of the night."
Yeah.
Nah.
Hey, it's been confirmed by a bunch of wrestlers. So if they,
you don't
they say he did that.
Didn't X-Pac shit in his food?
Supposedly.
Cause remember he came out as Ms. Ark Henry.
That's the mark.
Hey, Rock.
Yeah.
That's the rumor, but it's never been confirmed.
I know.
I wouldn't confirm that.
Why? Why would you do that though?
You don't play with people's food.
Do you really want to die that much?
The one thing I know: don't mess with a man's food, and don't mess with his money.
Mm-hmm.
You're messing with this man's food, and this dude's already a fucking hungry bear. No thanks.
Hell, don't take his crutches either.
Nah, just leave that dude alone.
Seriously, he was telling a story about him and Big Show was on the road, and next thing you know, he got a phone call, and something pissed him off, and he literally bent the steering wheel.
I remember him saying that.
Like, how the hell you bend the steering? Like, yeah, be strong as hell to do that shit.
Well,
not even struggle. He just.
Well, he got strong as hell in the
strong man
in the lock. He got that on lock. So
he literally was the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
Wasn't it him that he said that he wanted to do another competition, and Vince says if you don't win, you're fired?
Yeah.
And he won.
Yeah.
He won by a mile. I mean, a mile. If anybody wants to go back and see a feat of strength that he pulls, it's the that fucking clean that he does. He does it 3-4 times. And he said he could have done it a couple more times if he wasn't showing off. But I guess he was the only man that could do it at the competition. Nobody else could lift it.
And he did it 4 times.
4 times. Like nothing. So that just says it all. John, stop eating.
A guy of that caliber, he should have went further than what he did. That Hall of Pain, he should have happened way before then.
Well, he said that unfortunately, because of how big he was, he couldn't be like the John Cena of that era where he can do all the traveling and all that. He's hurt. He's in a lot of pain. So he couldn't do all that stuff like John could. He wasn't as lean as he is.
He was the first member of his own Hall of Pain.
Strap. That WrestleMania match he had at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago. It was a, close encounter. But obviously he didn't win. What happened to him after that? Like, did he take time off?
Yeah,
I think that Hall of Fame took place in what, 20?
You'll like this. In the early days of this podcast, I alerted you gentlemen to something at the Survivor Series 2005, where Edge called some baseball player out, and
I forgot.
Called him Mark Henry. And it's kind of like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. And then, Mark Henry came back like the following month, beating up Batista on SmackDown. That was late 2005. And, the match you're talking about, WrestleMania 22, that was one of Mark Henry's big pushes. That was one of, and Mark Henry had many of them, So, when he was facing The Undertaker, was Mark Henry a legitimate guy to knock down the streak? I mean, he was a legitimate guy. Was he really going to do it? No. But at least he had some steam behind him because they were pushing him really hard at that moment in time. But where did he end up after that? Mark Henry would just go weave in and out of wrestling. He would always get injured, come back, injured, come back. And that was just the story of his entire career. I mean, the only thing I can catch him up to next would be being the Kool-Aid Man with MVP. Oh yeah.
All right, so I googled that baseball player, and who you said Edge called? Who'd you say? What'd you say exactly?
He just said who are you? And he just like, oh, you're Mark Henry. It's like, oh, you're not Mark Henry. That's it. Very small
Mark
line.
McGuire?
That baseball player he's talking about was Demetri Young.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Edge, we have something in
Lord.
common. I hit balls. You have no balls. That doesn't. So
Matter of
That's
fact,
only-
I gotta show
Wow.
y'all a picture of
it's only
Demetri
rem-
Young.
Yeah.
only-
Like,
I remember
you said
who.
that,
I know what they were like.
said that, and I knew immediately.
Wasn't he like the number 1 overall pick at one point in MLB?
Yeah. He was a Tampa Bay Ray for a long time.
He
I
was on a
remember
few
that,
teams. I remember him from Detroit.
Yeah, I remember he was there for a while too.
Let me pull up the picture right quick.
Dimitri.
I
Young.
see-
Audio
I-
listeners.
I think he was a
check-
98.
Whoa. Hey. Is he working at Walgreens?
Wow.
Demetri Young.
Wow.
All right, so back to the Owen Hart match with X-Pac. We get a little sidetrack right here, but Owen had X-Pac in the sharpshooter, but China gets in the ring. She hits him with the DDT, and X-Pac is your winner.
Look, we're not going to bypass the fact that he Bronco busted the air. We're not going to bypass that, okay? That
Yeah, you
X-Pac went in that whole corner and Bronco busted the fucking air. We're not going to bypass that.
You're working
That's
a little
fine.
light for me, brother.
That's fine. Owen said,
His
"Hey,
opponent.
don't get too close, brother. I can smell sardines."
That's not good.
I don't need to know what you ate last night.
Ugh.
All right, so after this,
Smells
we get another promo. We get another promo after this, and it's Paul Bearer. He comes out talking about how the Undertaker came to his house and he was beating him up and so on. Guys, another promo. Come on, was it really needed?
Hey,
No.
Like, is this show that lackluster that you gotta have Paul
Look.
Bearer and the old man be on the show?
You've already added 2 bonus matches, and now you have a second promo that made very little sense.
They may have added it, but we're not even there yet. But I believe at this point in the show, I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
The bonus match is next.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
you didn't know?
So the bonus match is for the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship. And we have the New Age Outlaws, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, and have China again. This is the second time we've seen China. And they go against the new Midnight Express. We have Bodacious Bart Gunn, and Boombastic Bob Holly. What the hell?
Try that again.
Bodacious Bart and Boombastic Bob?
Listen here, Shaggy.
Oh,
Even JR couldn't get. He's laying the rock down on the smack for Bodacious Bart and Bombastic Bob.
yeah, whatever.
Mr. Leva, Bob Holly.
Bruh.
Yo, just because you put new in front of it doesn't mean it works, because they are never Stan, they're not Bobby, and they're not Dennis Conte.
Yo,
That's terrible.
In the later of the match, like, what the hell is up with Bob Holly? He's like, suck it.
Suck it.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, keep a job, Bob. Anyway. So, what the hell? But it was a cool moment when the brothers lined up.
Yeah.
There
I'm
were no-
glad JR acknowledged it.
Yeah.
They won't acknowledge that.
And
Former
that-
tag
and
team
that
champions,
actual-
they're brothers.
And that actual sequence was really tight. I like the actual their opening sequence when they went up face to face, and then that whole opening sequence was pretty tight. and we're back to looking at them.
John, what was up with their partnership with Smoky Mountain Wrestling? Like, how this come about? Do you know?
So it all began. Jim Cornette, he did those 2 promos late '97, when they're still losing to WCW, and he did those promos. One of them, if you recall, he called, Hulk Hogan is a household name, but so is trash. So, I was like, oh, that's such a good line.
I love Jim Cornette for that. I can't even deny that.
So
Movie, that one's for you.
He did 2 of those shoot style promos, which were very popular. So the way they capitalized on it was they turned into an angle. So they're like, I'm Jim Cornette, and you guys want old school wrestling the way it used to be? Well, I've got the NWA here, and he brought out Jeff Jarrett back when he was in that Native American Arizona attire, and he had his hair slicked back, and he was weird and shit. Eventually, he turned back into the country singer Jeff Jarrett gimmick, and he also brought back the new Midnight Express of Boombastic Bob and Bodalucious Bart.
Bodacious.
Actually, he brought back I believe he brought back the original Rock and Roll Express, and then he turned heel on him, and then he got the Midnight Express. So this is just what they were doing at the time. Their relationship with Smoky Mountain, the relationship with the NWA. It was just they were nobody. Obviously, they're like TNA to NXT right now. They're like not Ring of Honor, but New Japan to AEW. They're just, we can work together. We're separate companies, but we can work together. We're not in competition with each other. We can only help each other. So that's what WWF was doing with the NWA or Smoky Mountain at the time. I think Smoky Mountain was probably freaking probably going bankrupt right now at that time, but whatever it was. So that's where the NWA tag team titles came from for this angle.
Wow.
Mr. Boombastic.
Well, what do you think about the match?
It was interesting. It didn't have as much heat as you think it does. But I knew this because like the WWF had more characters on the undercard, so you would think they'd have a better undercard relationship with the fans, but they kind of didn't react as much. They only reacted to like the Stone Cold main event kind of thing, and that was kind of typical of this show because that's exactly what happened. The main event's got the super attention, and the undercard didn't, even though they had a good undercard, good talent on the undercard. Unlike WCW, where the undercard had great in-ring action, but not. Well, maybe they did. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, you had it right, though. The WCW, their problem was they had good in-ring action with the lower card, but they didn't have the right storylines to go with it. While when they went to their main events were shit. They couldn't figure out how to finish to save their lives. And WWF decided, you know what? We're going to go focus on the main roster, the top dogs, and that's what's bringing in the tickets. If we don't bring in the money with these guys, we're fucked. So they focus more on the main guys. They developed a certain few, and now they're still in business because of that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, right. All right, so the finish of the match, we see Jim Cornette in the ring, getting ready to interfere. Then China comes out of nowhere. Low blow. The Outlaws retain the title. Outlaws with the win. Guys,
pretty shocking that Cornette wasn't involved as much as he normally would be. I mean, if you've watched any of his stuff from back in the 80s, you're like, Jim Cornette's kind of quiet right now, unlike BDC's microphone.
My microphone is loud.
I think you're trying to eject your VHS cassette.
Yes.
Well, I thought that would work, but
you can move along.
I'll rewind it later. It's okay. I'll rewind it.
You're so kind in the future.
Yeah. Just trying to.
Well, you can mute yourself and then move wherever you want. You can do that. Anyway.
Yep. That'd be okay.
So as of now, what do you guys think about the show from what we've seen?
It's lackluster
Dragging.
from what I'm normally would
It's
watch.
dragging.
It's dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is. All right, so our next match, we have the finals for the King of the Ring. We have Ken Shamrock taking on the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock. And we have Triple H on commentary, and he's out with China again.
Okay.
China's getting a lot of action. This
is.
time, she's on the Spanish commentary team, and she was speaking Spanish. Hero Taco Bell.
That's right. It's like, goddamn Triple H. Triple H, what is she saying over there? I don't know. I think she's trying to order Taco Bell or something. What an
Jackass.
asshole. What an asshole.
What a
man.
fucking dick.
The leader. Anyway.
Triple
She
H
sounded
made
like she
Rock-
knew.
Yeah, she knew her stuff.
Yeah.
She's a linguist.
Triple H made wearing that Kango hat look cool. Backwards Kango hat had DX in the front.
You did. I
Coach
can't
made it
even
look
deny
terrible.
that. Yep.
Yeah,
Damn.
but
Damn it, coach.
it was a physical fight.
Mm-hmm.
But The Rock got to get in Triple H's face, and Triple H got to take a sip of that water and spit in his face. And you would think the ref would throw him out. No, but that was the only interference we get from Triple H, and Rock and Kenny go back into it. And yeah, long story short, The Rock
Uncle-
tapped out.
Yeah,
Uncle-
I'm actually shocked though, like you said, that Triple H didn't get like any interference in this match because of his rivalry with The Rock. But maybe they was just trying to prove a point that let Kenny win, like as a baby face, no issues. He is intense, just like this picture.
Oh yeah.
But when he fucking picked his ankle and put it in the ankle lock, I was like, oh, game over. Definitely smart way to end that match.
Absolutely.
Yep. John. Usually, the King of the Ring, you get like the big push. You the next guy up. You the next big thing. It didn't happen for Ken.
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning or logic. I guess when the storyline fit, that's what they decided to do. It was never a guaranteed thing that the King of the Ring would go to SummerSlam to face the champion. It's easy to remember the King of the Rings because they stopped it at a certain point, the pay-per-view anyway. But let's see.
Not really necessarily for him being at SummerSlam, but
Yeah.
Triple H won it the year before, and he had that major push, even though he should have won it 2 years ago before then. But Austin won it. Austin had that push to see where he's at then. Brett had it. Owen was, climbing through the ranks.
Owen was a good example of that.
The worst example would be freaking Mabel.
Yeah, they
that
tried.
time.
They tried. It wasn't happening.
I guess they were trying to do another Yokozuna with Mabel, and it didn't go well. Was it? Yeah. Was Yoko a champion by the time Mabel won?
No,
Probably
But-
tag champion.
that was showing the influence of the clique. If you did something wrong to them, your push was over. Like we just watched the first In Your House, and Bam Bam Bigelow just turned babyface. The second babyface to Diesel. Sid is the number one heel there. Where the hell is Shawn Michaels? And go to the end of '95. Where the hell did Bam Bam end up? No one knows.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think something happened with him and the Clique and Kevin Nash, and they're just like, no, let's not push this guy. And the same thing happened with Mabel. Mabel probably hurt Diesel on the house show. I think he really did. It's like, don't push this guy. He hurts people in the ring. So
Well, I heard he
Mabel's
hurt-
push.
He heard Taker too.
Yeah, well,
Hurt.
they put on TV. That's when he got that mask.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, that was brutal. It's like, oh my God, Yokozuna, the big fat guys are just dropping legs on Undertaker's face and crushing him. Jeez Louise.
Uh-oh.
Time.
Breaking news. What you got, Dom?
I ain't gonna talk about it because I'm gonna be too late. All I'm gonna say is, say his name and he appears.
I already know. I saw that. I already saw that.
Carmelo Hayes is Uncle Howdy?
I believe in Joe Hendrick. Wow. Yep.
Wow, indeed.
Yeah,
He,
I saw that.
Later.
Prior to its recording.
he made the walk.
He made the walk.
Oh shit. Oh man. Oh man.
Unlike AEW spoilers, NXT spoilers don't affect me.
Oh,
Me too.
Lord.
I'm with you, John. Don't spoil AEW. NXT, go fuck yourself.
Don't disrespect NXT like that.
I know.
Don't dis-
It's only kidding.
I
I'm
mean,
only
no,
kidding.
when Dom strapped
Like
me down
it.
and forced me to watch Impact Wrestling that one night,
You was over my house. I know what you talking about. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Kaz was on there, too.
Dom's just giving out spoilers.
Wait, Kazarian was on there too.
Eric Bischoff
Yeah.
over here.
I know.
Oh shit!
Spoiler alert. Don't watch
Well,
that trash in NXT.
By the time the show airs, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's too late now.
I know.
It don't make a difference.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch that on Hulu in the morning.
Yeah. All right, Dom, get us back on track. I got to
Yeah,
change
with
another
the
diaper.
peacock. That baby sleep.
Did you say you had to?
Guys,
All right.
schedule, man.
Here we go. John said earlier it was a 2-match show, and it was, because our next match we have the Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley, Mankind, and The Undertaker.
Now, this is the most infamous Hell in the Cell you will ever see.
Ever. Mm-hmm.
There's more calls and more shenanigans in this match than you will ever catch. And I'm just looking back at it. It was only about a 10, 15-minute match. It lasted longer than it should have been because of all the other bullshit. But
Yeah.
the match was about
It's
5
the
10
second
minutes.
one in history, right?
Yep.
The second one. The first one was at Bad Blood 1997, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
Taker.
And we got the debut of Kane. That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be
Right.
Kane.
And I think I remember Mankind saying that Taker had a bad ankle going into this match, and you can see that limp coming into that ring. I was noticing that. I don't know if y'all did.
Limp it ain't easy.
Nah, that ankle was hurting. Trying to come down the ring and go for that battle, but beginning of the match, man, they're both up top fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Take that one step. I'm like, this.
Yep.
Yep.
That's that.
Yep. That step. I was like, that right there. No bueno.
BDC, let me hear what you have on your notes about this match right here.
Okay. Match starting on top of the cage, let you know this is going to be special. And literally anyone who remembers this match don't even remember that there is an actual match that happens in the ring. Only thing they remember is Mankind going off and then Mankind going through. No one remembers there's an actual match that happens once he goes through the ring. So also have down here, throwing chairs on top of the cage, you just knew. JR cementing his probably most famous quote, "As God is my witness, he's broken in half." When Terry Funk ends up in the ring, after Mick Foley goes through it, JR does a good job of bringing up the Funk Foley rivalry as a reason for Funk to be there because he truly cares. Then that choke slam he took meant he really cared that he got hurt. Basically saying that he solidified his legend as a hardcore in the match. He had a hell of a pile driver on Taker, and that this dude took a backdrop and a choke slam consecutively on thumbtacks before taking the tombstone that knocked that tooth out of his nose.
Yep.
Mankind is a tough son of a bitch. A legendarily tough son of a bitch.
I wouldn't even say tough. That dude was freaking insane to do all the shit he did.
Yeah.
Just even when he got himself thrown off the top of the hell on the cell, and you're looking at him like it's almost like he was like gliding. Like I don't know if y'all noticed, he kind of like stood in the air, like it literally was like, all right, and you can't perfect that. Obviously, that's just physics. But Jesus,
he waited to the absolute last second to turn himself to land on that table.
I think anybody else would have got hurt.
Yeah,
No one.
absolutely.
Anyone
Absolutely.
with a smaller body frame than that,
Yeah.
their neck would have been damaged, and the match would have been completely shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to know I'm one of the hugest Taker fans you will ever see. Absolutely am. I Taker all day, every day. But when I look at my note sheet and I have not a single note about Taker, it's all about Mankind. Gives you an idea of how insane Mankind is, Mick Foley is, when it came to this match. He was something else that night.
And it just goes to show that he still gets unappreciated for that time and that during that attitude era. Yeah, we mentioned Stone Cold, Triple H, Rock, Taker, but Mick is like that missing piece that he meshed with everybody. He was that spoon that mixed everything together to that nice bowl, and it just boom.
Think of it this way. We talk about the Monday Night Wars. Mick Foley is the turning point of the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
He is the turning point. The moment Eric Bischoff gets out there and announces that Mick Foley is going to win the WWF Championship, everybody was so invested in seeing him finally win the big one.
I know I was.
I was too. He did that. I immediately turned it to Raw to watch.
And I didn't even go back to WCW until the end. That's the crazy thing.
And he literally that was the turning point. Something that he didn't even know he was doing. He was just wrestling the match. He didn't know. But because he was so loved by wrestling fans in general, the mere mention of him winning a championship was enough to make everybody turn to Raw that night, and they never lost a week again after that. And that was a tooth hanging out of his nose.
I don't know if you noticed that the crowd even had the way they felt about Mick. Maybe they weren't feeling him in the beginning of the match, but after what he went and did for us,
oh yeah,
the whole crowd was like, you know what, stand in awe, bro. This is what it's all about. You sacrifice for us, so we give back to you.
That night changed a lot of things for him. I mean, don't get me wrong. People who knew of his hardcore exploits before that, of course, people like that, they knew him, they loved him and stuff like that. But the mainstream fan who didn't know who Mick Foley was in the Indies, who didn't know who Mick Foley was in ECW or in any of these other spots, who really just saw this guy Mankind and didn't really know who he was. Oh, they learned about him that night.
Yeah.
And they came to respect him heavily after that night.
Yeah. John.
Oh, you hold on before John gets into it. You said he had a turning point and everybody know who he is. Well, it seemed like our followers from the It Doesn't Matter podcast don't know who Mick Foley is because they ain't watched that damn episode that we recorded a few weeks ago. And John mentioned to me all the time.
Maybe they know too much about him. They're like, we've seen enough.
Yeah,
we know a lot about Mick Foley. He's too famous, too popular. So, yeah, I feel like this is Better Call Saul right now.
That's a good
but
show.
Yeah, this match had a lot going into it because we already knew so much about it. But as you know, during the pre-show, that's not part of the podcast. We talked about how, we thought we determined that we did never watch the show before, like the whole show. We might have seen the matches in the end, but we've never seen the whole show. And as I was watching it, as I mentioned, that I felt the show. We all felt the show was running long, and like, oh, maybe I'll watch the last two matches another time, like tomorrow night or something like that. Yep. I was like, no, I have to watch it all now because that's how it was presented. I don't get to take a break and watch, the main events later. I can't do that. I have to watch it as the show progressed and not as a highlight, And so things like, man, the first bump, the one that you said, Mick, like you heard lots of stories, and I'll hear more about him at the Kowloon tomorrow night when Mick Foley makes an appearance there in Saugus, Massachusetts. But it looks like that was a planned bump, of course, and that he was ready to take it. And I mean, it's a really big bump, but I think he was ready to take it, and he knew the consequences of it, and that was that. And as soon as it happened, a visceral moment that happens during modern wrestling matches, just like, whoa, what happened? Like, I knew this was going to happen. Why did I act like it? But you're in the moment and you're just like caught up in it. And it's like, wow, what the hell was that? It's like, Jesus. It's like, well, now we got to wait for the whole shenanigans to happen. You know, everyone coming out, the Terry Funk and the EMTs and all that stuff. It's like, all right, well, okay, well, I know more is going to happen, but how's it going to happen? I don't remember exactly. Right. And then, the match progresses. And then, God damn it, Undertaker choke slamming him right through the center. I'm like, it's like, wait a minute. This is planned to, no. This was called. No. This was called. Yeah. And it's like, and then, by God, right? And then they proceed to have a match. And you can tell, like, yeah, Mick Foley's trying to pick up those steps. Oh, he can't do it. His shoulder's fucked. It's like, well, no shit. So it's like, okay, I believe that. That's legit. And they have a match. They have their match. Yeah, they're not Ultimo Dragon and Kidman here, but they're having their match and they get to do it and they have the finish. And it's kind of like, okay, they completed it. It's over. It's done. And it was just, wow. It was actually better than I expected, better than I remembered, because I thought it was just a 2-spot stunt show. And it's like, and it was, but they were able to finish the match and continue it. And it wasn't something you saw in historical footage. You got to see it in real time, happen right in front of you at a realistic pace. Well, and it was just better than I remembered, better than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely,
totally agree.
Because again, if you just watch highlights and you haven't seen that match in a couple of years, you'll very easily forget that there was an actual match that happened after the first minute where he got thrown off, and then 10 minutes later when he got back up there, he got chokeslammed. Yeah, there was an actual match in there. And it was especially for the condition that Mick Foley was in, was actually a pretty decent match. It was a pretty decent match.
I'm kind of glad I watched this on my own and not with the family, because my girl's a casual fan, and every now and then she pop in and say, "Oh, what you reviewing this week?" and something like that. It's like, you know what? I'll show her another time.
Yeah,
you should have showed her while he's watching in real time. John's girl walks in and see Glacier and Wrath.
Lord,
this is what it is.
Oh,
you should have showed her, but
well, she was doing something else at the time. So,
all right. Well, like I said, this is more of a spectacle than anything. Like, BDC did say that the match did take place after the fact, but it was a lot of shenanigans taking place, and Terry Funk getting choke slam. He's laid out, and then you see his shoes just laying in the middle of the ring. You see,
did he take those things off? Because I've watched the whole sequence. He still had his shoes on.
Well, yeah, my man got choke slammed and then went into a tantrum. That's essentially what it was. Like, he got choke slammed, and then I was like, is he throwing a tantrum? Like, is he gonna turn over and start crying like a baby?
No.
The hell is happening right now?
I don't know.
That was brutal. That was brutal to watch. It's like, you got choke slammed. You didn't get shot.
Yeah, you see Terry Funk out there. He's overreacting. You see that dude, what's his name? Jean-Pierre, the French dude that cracks the necks and back and all that stuff. He was out there.
I'm surprised they mentioned him too. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it was a wild time, guys. Whoever hasn't seen this match, I know y'all have. I know y'all see some clips. Definitely check out this Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mick Foley, Mankind. Yeah. It was it was crazy.
Yep. Just know when you see that man get off the gurney and start to walk back, it's about to get real.
Yeah.
It's about to get real.
This man got thrown off the cell, got stretchered out, came back, walked up, climb back up on top of the damn cell. Undertaker just look at him like, you a damn fool. Choke slammed him, go right through the cell, and then everybody just scatters and just run right into the ring to go check on this man. And then on top of that, the man just gets up after a while and they have a match. They wrestle for like maybe like 10, 12 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing about it, we still have one more match after this. And this fool came back out in the next match.
That's the kicker. That is the kicker.
Yes. So our next match, we have our first blood match. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's your World Wrestling Federation champion, taking on Kane in a first blood match. And if Kane loses his match, he's going to set himself on fire. So you hearing this stipulation, you're like, how the hell Kane going to blue that damn mask on?
Yep.
Who you going to be like, Michael Myers with the coming down your eyes? You going to see something like that?
That was the draw.
Yep.
That was the draw.
King made it a point to point out that Kane's skin was completely covered. He was wearing the double arm suit for this match. He didn't have his left arm. He didn't have his left arm exposed like he normally did. He was wearing a full double arm suit.
Because remember, anywhere you bleed, that's it.
Yep, which led some people to believe that he would be setting himself on fire. And I was like, no, it's the opposite. It just meant that he was not going to bleed at all.
Yep.
So, yep. So yeah, Stone Cold just he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell, really, because there was just not too many places where you could make Kane bleed. And right in the early going, Stone Cold was bleeding on his back, but they're like, it's got to be something significant. I'm like, yeah, okay. He was bleeding on his back, and it's not even 5 minutes in, but we're gonna wait for something significant. Okay, all right, you got that. Mm-hmm.
I think they said he had a staph infection prior to this match.
Yeah,
so he almost didn't even make it.
Yeah, he had a staph infection in his elbow. That's why his elbow was so heavily taped.
So he's already coming in hurting, and it still put on a performance of a lifetime. Got somebody who's got a mask on. If you're a wrestler, I know I've never wrestled. Like I said, I'm just a fan, but to show your emotions through a mask is very difficult because a lot of fans, you show your expressions like we want to see your expression like this with your face. We can't tell how you're feeling if you got a face mask on. And the only person that's pretty much been able to do that and to get away with it has been Rey Mysterio. Everyone else, we can't see how you're really feeling with that mask on, so it's very difficult. Granted, the fucking big red machine was a fucking monster, and all you think about is Michael Myers.
Right. But, and it doesn't help that his particular mask, the only thing you could literally see was his eyes.
Yeah.
His mouth was fully covered, so you couldn't see if he was in any type of duress at all.
Nope.
You know the crazy thing is, this was a good ass match.
A great match.
But the match before then, the Hell in a Cell match, just straight overshadowed this whole match right there. Like
it sucked all the energy out of the room. I mean, it was still a great match, but it's that Hell in a Cell match sucked all the energy out of the room.
And it's crazy.
Follow that.
Stone Cold still had his Stone Cold pop, not as usual that we've so used to growing and realized, but they were probably still like, damn, you can't top that.
You just watch. Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing is that it just is what it is. In 1998, the crowds were better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were just better. They were more in tune to the pageantry of it all and weren't so necessarily concerned about the behind the scenes shit and wanted the show to be more about them than the actual show.
Nobody had smartphones back then.
Yeah, they absolutely were into the show, and you could basically. And one of the ways I noticed it, you look at the leagues of signs, and in the early going, all the signs that were there, like literally just everywhere you look, you couldn't get more than a row or two without seeing a sign, which these days is not happening.
No,
it's not happening.
No, I was gonna mention the sign thing too, because I did peep that. Like everybody, like you want to express yourself. There was no social media. You bring one of them signs out there.
That was
that sign in the
media.
front row.
Yeah.
PJ wants head. Like I seen that sign.
Yeah. Yep.
What you gonna do about it?
I ain't
The
PJ.
thing of it is no, and at that point, no one really cared. You could pretty much, as long as the sign wasn't "I'm going to kill my mother" or anything like that, you could bring any sign you wanted there.
Yeah.
These days, if the sign barely says "Hi, you," they're like, okay, you might want to watch that sign. We're gonna go ahead and take that sign from you.
The fans were lit at this time. I know you see a lot of people in the crowd throwing up the X's for DX, middle fingers, fuck you, Bodacious Bart, Boombastic Bill, whatever his name is, and all that other shit. So it was a good time.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I hate those signs. I hate them all, especially if I'm in the arena. Go stuff yourselves. Put it down. I can't see. I can't see shit.
Yourself.
You know the sign guy back in the day?
No, he was sign guy Dudley.
Hey.
Oh man! So John, what are your thoughts on this match?
It's one of the, memorable, of course. When the I can't call it like a favorite match or anything like that, but it's one of the great matches of that time period. And the first thing I could think of was, oh my God, it's the Ringmaster versus Isaac Yankem, DDS. How about it, guys?
Damn.
Did y'all hold on before you continue? Did you guys see that sign? There was a sign in the crowd that said Isaac Yankem is Kane.
I didn't see
social
that.
media.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So somebody knew.
How the hell y'all know that?
Somebody was behind the scenes.
Wade Keller.
Probably.
So.
No, but it's a very, so we're talking about the whole show up to this point, and yeah, man, the last two matches seal it. If you want to watch a pivotal pay-per-view, it feels like we're saying this. I feel like I'm saying it a lot, or maybe I'm just having these thoughts a lot. But if you want a pivotal pay-per-view to watch in the Monday Night Wars, King of the Ring 1998 is one to watch. It has everything in the Attitude Era that you are about to love and enjoy, or already love and enjoy. It has DX, The Rock, has the Michinoku Driver, the Kaientai before they were the other Kaientai, Triple H wearing baggy jeans, Stone Cold and Kane, Mick, the Undertaker. It is the entire Attitude Era on one show.
Yes.
Booked well, done well. This is it. This is the one to watch. We talked about One Night Stand, a while ago, and that was a 10 out of 10. Now, this is not a 10 out of 10, but
no, not at all.
a nice 8 out of 10, but it's still a must watch for if you want to know about the Attitude Era in the WWF at that time.
I give it a 6.
I gotta go with John a little bit, but I say 7.5.
Yeah.
It's the last two matches kind of like seal the deal for you and makes you want to go back and watch it.
It's just a 2-card show. Just skip everything else. Watch the Hell in a Cell and watch this First Blood match.
But I don't think the undercard was. Sometimes the undercard is just bad.
It was,
and I know we had our thoughts about it, but I don't think anything was really that bad because, like I said, if you watch it as 1 3-hour show and you're just like, all right, and then you don't split it, you don't skip it, you just watch that 3-hour block as it was intended, you will leave the impression of the show. Man, that King of the Ring 98. Holy shit, that was awesome.
Yep.
That's what you're gonna leave with.
You got to think about it too. You got Owen and Xbox, who was a great match right there too.
Yep.
And then Rock and Kenny, sign me up, man. Those guys got excellent chemistry. Maybe it wasn't one
4
of their
matches. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done it without the promos. They could have done without the promos.
Yes.
Yeah, you eliminate the promos. We'll do that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
You eliminate the promos, and I think it makes it a lot more palatable than it is. You do without the Outlaws and the Midnight Express, it gets even better.
But that's fun for its own weirdness, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, so that's why it's part of it. Look at that guy. He's looking so much like Ricky Morton right there.
Look,
He does.
Mr. Lawler.
Um,
Who's washing laundry right now?
not I, says me. Not I, says me.
All right.
Um,
Does the show matter? John,
It does matter.
Platino,
It does.
BDC.
absolutely.
It does. Definitely check it out.
All right. So, Dom, what's on the docket for next week?
Next week is the month of July, and we're going to take it back. We're going to talk about all things Kevin Nash, Diesel, you name it. Yes, we're going to talk about his career. We're going to talk about how he started as Oz and whatever other gimmick
Vinny
he was.
Vegas.
Vinny Vegas. Then he went to WWF, and he was Diesel. Then we're going to talk about how he went over back to WCW and how that boosted his career even a little bit more. And then how he went right back to WWE. How he's supposed to fight a CM Punk, which never happened.
Wow.
We're not going to talk about his TNA days because that doesn't matter.
Well, look. Main Event Mafia was a thing, so we can't completely dismiss it. Main Event Mafia was a thing.
You
That
gotta
was a
know,
thing.
because especially with Black Snow, him and Black Snow talking, and he's gonna talk like that. And then, oh my God, he's gonna kick him. Ah, Black Snow. Ah.
We don't want to talk about silver hair Kevin Nash. We're going to talk about prime Kevin Nash.
He was a prime time main event Mafia player.
Yes, just like Ray Finkel.
Oh boy.
Ah,
All right.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
Oh boy. With that being
Yes.
said, we're getting the fucking queue to get home. Since we're talking about Diesel, we gotta pull up to the truck stop. Get your weight up. Better not be overweight because it's gonna be a little.
Why? Why? Why?
I'm here with BDC. I am here with Stratfax. I'm also here with the host, the notorious one, Dom, and I am Papi Platano. And we will see you next time.